The Big Sister Experience is here to share honest conversations and insights around life, mental health, and well-being. While we aim to inform and inspire, the content of this podcast is for general information purposes only. If any topics raises questions or concerns for you, we encourage you to seek professional support or advice before acting on any topics discussed. To begin today's episode, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are recording from, the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We acknowledge that learning through conversation and stories is an Indigenous practice that has been done on this land for centuries before us. We want to pay our respect to any Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander people listening and elders past and present. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Before we begin, please note that this episode will include topics related to mental health, which may include discussions of anxiety, depression, trauma, or other mental health issues and illnesses, as well as suicide and self-harm and related topics. Everyone processes these topics differently, so please take care of yourself in whatever way you need, whether that means pausing, stepping away, or reaching out to someone you trust. If you're struggling, you're not alone. Support is available. There are resources at the end of every episode for those who need it.
3, 2, 1. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisterhood Space. My name's Tiara. My pronouns are she, her. Today we have a very special guest. I'm with Daina.
Hi, my pronouns are also she, her.
If you don't know who we are from the Big Sister Experience. We run all-day mental health and wellbeing workshops with female identifying and gender diverse students. We just go in and just talk about the things that we wish we kind of knew when we were younger, be that big sister figure. Also want to acknowledge that it's called the Big Sister Experience. It sounds gendered. It is a little bit gendered because we know that there are some things that women, female identifying, female presenting people and gender diverse people go through in the world that's different from others. But the reason it's called the Sisterhood Space, the Big Sister Experience, is more of us being that big sister figure kind of coming in to this space, and we want you showing up in this space however you feel most comfortable. And that being said, we're the Big Sisters, you're in the space, welcome to the Sisterhood Space. Yay! We have Daina today. I'm really excited. Do you want to intro yourself, tell the people like the amazing self you are?
So my name is Daina. I've been at the Big Sister Experience for I think 2 years now. It feels like way longer. I love it here. It's great. I'm currently studying, so I'm doing my postgraduate studies in clinical psychology, which is very exciting. So I feel very passionate about all of this. And yeah, I've also had my own personal experiences with mental health, which is why I love to go into schools and talk to young people about what's happening for them as well.
100%. And exactly why we have you on today, because we are discussing all things mental health. Yes. But before we start, just want to do a little check-in. Like, how are you? How have you been? I feel like I haven't seen you in a little while.
Oh, I've missed you.
I know, I missed you too.
I'm good. I was struggling a bit recently, but I feel like I've just come out of it. But like, come out of it so strong, and I'm just like excited about life again.
I love that. No, that's so exciting, especially when you feel like you have those really low lows.
Yeah.
To like be on the other side and be like, no, I actually like got this. And I have the tools and strategies to like keep going.
Resilience.
Yes. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
What about you?
I'm feeling good. I'm really excited to be here with you. I'm loving this podcast, this space. I'm excited.
Good.
Great, cool. So we're going to get into the questions today. But before we start, if you don't already know, when we go into these workshops, we give the students a bunch of opportunities to ask different questions. And we basically turned this podcast into those questions based on the different topics. Today, we're doing mental health access. And that's why I've got these little sticky notes, because these questions come straight from the students. So we're really keen to like get into it. Cool. First question. Okay, great. I love this question. I think it's so important. What is a mental health care plan? How do I get one?
Yes, this is a great question. So a mental health care plan is for people living in Australia who are citizens or permanent residents and they have access to Medicare. So I acknowledge that maybe some people listening to this might not be able to access one, but most people probably should. And it basically is just a plan where you go and you get to see a psychologist, but you get money back from the Medicare benefits scheme. So you pay X amount and then you get refunded it, and it gives you 6 sessions and then it gives you an extra 4. So you get 10 total in a calendar year.
Yeah, amazing.
How to get one? The short answer is you go to your GP and they will look after you. But I know that a lot of our listeners will be young women with anxiety, so sometimes knowing like every single step could be helpful.
If you have no idea what it is, we're going to break everything down. It's your one-stop shop. If you know someone who like needs it, doesn't really know where to go, like we just want want to break everything down so you've got the whole guide.
The first thing is you're welcome to take a parent, an adult, or even just a friend with you to the appointment if you need to. You can book online or on the phone, however you book with your doctor. You should ask for a mental health appointment though, just because it gives you that extra time and they'll want to use that time. So you'll go in, you can either have in your mind someone that you want to go and see, or if you go there and you're just like, I need help, I don't know where to start, they'll walk you through the entire process. So it's usually a pretty safe and held space. So you'll go in, they'll ask you a few questions about what's going on and why you need support, which is important to make sure that they can help you get the right person and the right fit.
100%.
And then they'll usually do some sort of questionnaire just to kind of keep track of what's going on in your mental health symptoms. And then from there, either they'll have options that you can go and see and they'll suggest and they'll write a letter and a referral. Or what else could happen is you might go in and say, I found this person online, or I've been recommended so-and-so, or I've heard about this Headspace clinic that I want to go to. So if you go in with an idea, they can write it to there as well. But where they've addressed it to, the professional they address it to is where you have to go with the plan. So if you then they don't have room or whatever, you'll have to go and get that changed. So on the letter, it might say something like diagnosis of depression or anxiety. It doesn't mean you have a diagnosis. They just have to write something on there so that you can access the mental health care plan. So it'll say something, but you don't have to attach yourself to that label based on this, 30-minute appointment with a doctor. From there, then you'll go and you'll call, or they'll call you, the psychologist clinic. They'll book you in. It's usually a bit of a wait. And I know we're talking about the mental health care plan, but I just want to say in terms of when you do start getting support, the first session is very different from how the rest of them will go, because they want to get the big picture and all the information about you. So it might feel very intense questioning, and then it will kind of fade out and it'll be more normal. So usually by about the third session, you can tell if someone's a good fit, or if it's still like, I don't really feel comfortable around this person, then it's maybe worth considering trying to switch to a new person.
That's a really good point as well. Trust your gut with it. If it doesn't feel right and you've done those at least like 3 sessions, you're like, this doesn't feel like the right fit, you can change it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to see the same person because you're like, oh, okay, I've got these 6 sessions.
Yeah.
And that's really good to know, because I think sometimes you're like, oh, we think the professionals know everything more than we do, but you're the leader of your life. Like, you know your own body, you know your own mind. You are trying to seek that further support, but if something doesn't feel right, listen to it. And you can try something else. And if that doesn't work, just keep like finding different adjustments. And what might work for you at one point might not be like forever. But one of our other big sisters, Zoe, says it all the time, which I found really, really helpful info, is like sometimes you'll need someone to get you those steps 1 and 2. And then after that, you'll need to find somebody else to get you that 3 and 4. Yeah. And you just like kind of keep going. And like you're going to know, the more you do it as well, you're going to know what fits.
Yeah,
what
the
works.
easier it goes.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it might be good to have a parent or a guardian help you book that appointment for just making that first step a lot easier. And I acknowledge that sometimes the young people that are watching this might not want to talk to their parents about what's going on, or their guardians. And in Australia, when you are ages 14 or 15, you're eligible to try and get your own Medicare card if you're deemed a mature minor by the GP. So you could go to that appointment alone, but I don't think that many psychologists will see you without parental or guardian consent. They'll probably still want to have that just as a way to keep you safe, and, in case something comes up and they do need to tell an adult in your life, which is very rare, and they explain that to you in the first session as to why they might need to.
And also you get to choose your emergency contact when you fill out the form. So you can choose who you feel safe around to help you with that, because sometimes it isn't always safe for us to go to our guardians or our parents at home, but having that trusted adult is super important and will be like legally necessary when you go through that process. If you're not 15 with a Medicare card for yourself, if you're not a mature minor deemed by the GP, if you're not under those categories, if you're under that age, just something to just think about as part of the process as well.
Yeah, it's also just good for an adult in your life to know what's going on, even if you think that they maybe aren't going to be supportive, you'd be really surprised when someone kind of knows what's going on. And it's probably just worth mentioning as well, since we're talking about the process of it all, that if you do find someone and it fits, and after those 6 sessions, the psychologist will write a letter to your doctor to talk about, without any specific details about what you've been talking about. They might say the type of evidence-based therapeutic techniques that they're using, and just that you would benefit from more sessions. So then after the 6 times with the psychologist, you'd go back to the doctor and they'll just write a new letter saying, yep, cool, 4 more sessions for you.
Yeah. It's basically like a progress check.
Yeah.
To be like,
is this working? Is it helping? Is it worth your time?
Alrighty. So we're going to get to the next question. So what are some other ways to get help? Because sometimes it isn't always accessible for everyone to go through that journey of getting a mental health care plan and doing it. So besides that, what are the other ways that we can reach out for support? Because we know it's really important.
Yeah, well, definitely some of the things you would have heard us talk about in workshops, like reaching out to someone in your life, a trusted adult. As you said, it can be a family member, a teacher, a friend's parent, you know, an adult cousin, brother, auntie. It can be anyone.
They just have to be over 18. And trusted isn't always like the fun adult. Like they're not going to let you do everything, but they care about how you feel and they care about making you safe. So that's what's really important to know with that, for sure.
Yeah. But definitely reaching out to a trusted adult is something that we always talk about as a way that you can get help, because it just takes out this overwhelm of where do I go. They'll have more experience of knowing where to go and where to access and who to ask and all of that. Otherwise, there is other options. So we also talk about helplines. So that's like Kids Helpline or 13 Yarn or all of those numbers.
Yeah. At the end of every episode, we always have a list of those resources plus the QR codes there, just so you have as much access to this as possible. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing the podcast. And we know that not everyone knows their choices, their options. So yeah, there's the helplines are great. And there's also, even with the helplines, you can call, you can text. Like there's different ways to do it that you can do it to make you feel comfortable. They can be anonymous. Like you could be like, oh, my name's Sally and like this is what I'm going through, if you don't want to give all the details, but still get that support.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely lots of different ways.
There's also the benefit of remaining anonymous on these helplines, which can sometimes be really good, especially if it's like the first time you're talking about something or there's also benefits in that. And I'm really glad you mentioned being able to text. So there's also online websites that you can go to that have resources that you can access, but also chat lines. So I know Headspace has eHeadspace. I'm pretty sure Reach Out has some options. There's quite a lot of online options that you can use for web chat as well for support. If you go to school, then there will definitely be someone at your school that can help you. There'll be some sort of wellbeing or counsellor, and they will know exactly where to go, or can maybe get sessions within school, or they'll be able to help you connect with someone outside of school. There's also local councils. Sometimes they have youth support workers, or there might be a youth hub in your area. There's a website called Ask Izzy that you would actually be able to look up youth services on and type in your postcode, and it'll tell you what's near you that you can access.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. So I had no idea about that. With our resources that we have, anything that's not in that list, we're going to put in the link in YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, we're going to put it there for you as well, just to make sure you have those extra options, because even just knowing what's in your area can make such a difference, especially like you're in school, you might not have the ability to drive somewhere or catch a bus somewhere that's really, really far. So Ask Izzy. Is that what
Ask Izzy, yeah. It doesn't always do youth specific, but I think there's little toggles and things you can do to make it youth specific. Yeah. So
amazing. I love that.
It's a good little website. But also, if you work with literally any professional, whether that is a doctor, a social worker, a teacher, it could be maybe you have like a Centrelink worker, or like any professional, any adult that is working with you in a professional capacity. If you told them, I would like to get support for my mental health, I guarantee you they will be able to help sit down and figure it out with you as well.
Because sometimes it's just like there are so many things I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so even getting that, and I think that's also why like the helplines can be good, because sometimes you just need to test talking to someone about it.
Yeah.
And they're completely anonymous, but they're professionally trained in it.
Yeah. You could even call them and ask and say, hey, here's my area. What do I do? Where can I go? Can you help me? And they'll be able to help you as well. So if you don't have your trusted adult that you want to go to, you can call up a helpline and ask them to just give you information and resources too.
Yeah, I love that. And I remember you telling me one time there's sometimes within your local council there are options as well.
Yeah. So not every council does it, but some councils have like youth workers, and it's not always necessarily mental health focused, but again, even if that's not their focus, they'll be able to help you find the right person.
Like they can triage you to get to where you need to go. Yeah, amazing.
So I just want to circle back to the helplines again. I know we've talked about it a lot, but it's probably just worth mentioning as well that most of these are 24-hour services. So if you're feeling really like in your head at night, it can be really good to call them when you don't have someone else to kind of access at that time of day. Also, you can call on behalf of a friend, and I've actually done that with...
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I was worried about a friend in a relationship, and I called 1-800-RESPECT, and I got some really helpful advice on how to help them as a friend. So that's also an option. If you're like, I actually don't know what to do for this friend and I'm worried about them, they can help you with that.
Even I've experienced that. It's like I had a friend going through some stuff at home, and I was like, I don't really know what to do, who to go to.
Yeah.
And then me and one of my other friends spoke to, I think it was Kids Helpline we used, and they triaged us to, these are the people you can speak to, or even like, do you have a trusted adult, is there someone at school? And then that kind of gave us the next steps, which was great when we had no idea where to go or like where to start. Yeah, so you can use it for so many things. So super helpful.
Very helpful.
Yeah, amazing.
Cool.
So before we end all of our episodes, we love to do our leaves and our loves. Do you have something you're leaving this week? You're like, I'm done with this, I'm leaving it behind.
Yes, I think sometimes I struggle to ask for help, which is very ironic. I'm just a bit of a stubborn person sometimes. So I'm going to leave behind being too proud and stubborn to ask for help, because it's important to do sometimes.
No, you're so right. And like so easier said than done. Like it's hard, but I think just acknowledging that as a first step. We do our leaves and loves like every week, and leaving sometimes is just like, we're just going to plant that seed. We're just going to try to be like, okay, this is what I'm aiming for. I think sometimes asking for help can be the hardest part.
Yeah.
And so I definitely agree with you with that. I'm leaving this week that lack of accessibility for our different options when it comes to our mental health. I love that we have the mental health care plan, and that's an option for some of us, but everyone's circumstances are different, and that can be really hard. So knowing our other options, and there are so many services, like some that are free, really easily accessible, that are so important to have. So I'm leaving not knowing my options, not having those options, because they're out there. We just need to know them. You don't know if you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So us being here, like talking about it, hopefully helps even just one person. Like that's why we do what we do. So yeah, leaving behind like lack of options and like not knowing them.
Yeah.
Cool. What are you loving this week?
What am I loving? I am loving having quality time with the people in my life, like my family and my friends. And I think it's just like, one of the best mental health boosters is to just have that. And it's my love language too, is definitely quality time.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's so important, because I think sometimes we're like, taking care of our mental health has to be this step and this step. It's like, no, sometimes it's just spending time.
Sometimes it's just spending time with my best friend, my favorite person, doing nothing or like yapping nonstop.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it. This week, I'm loving that everyone's journey is different with their mental health, and that there's no complete like right or wrong, and you can feel like, oh, like I tried it, maybe it didn't work this way, but trying something else, and it's going to be messy, but the fact that you're trying is really important. So I think I love that. Like I love the effort that you're going to take care of yourself, big or small. I'm loving that this week, especially.
Yay,
amazing. Well, it's been so good to have you today. I feel like I want to see you more, because I just, every time I'm around you and whether we have workshops together or we just see each other, I feel like I always learn something new.
Same.
But it's just been so good to have you. So we know how important it is to have these conversations. So we hope that you took even just a small piece of information, or you're, after watching or listening to this, feeling a little better, like, oh, I learned something I didn't know before.
Yeah, or like it's just not that scary to go through the process.
100%. So please like, share, rate, comment. If you have any questions, if you think a friend needs advice or help, or if you need advice or help, leave it in our comments below. DM us. We have Instagram, TikTok. You can email us. There's all the different ways, but we really want this space to be yours, and we mean it. So please share that info and just ask those questions, because that's why we're here. So if you've been in our workshops, we love to leave you guys with just a little bit of a whoosh of love before we go. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoosh! Bye!
Here are some resources for further support. Lifeline 131114. Beyond Blue 1300 224-636. 1-800-RESPECT, 1-800-737-732. Suicide Callback Services, 1300-659-467. 13-YARN, 139276. Q-Life, 1-800-184-527. Kids Helpline, 1-800-55-1800. There's a QR code for further resources.